Welcome back to Not Truly Aggressive, episode number 21. We have Cotton, the Great Pyrenees, on set.
We're in bed. Yeah, we were actually, we were just stepping out of the door to go start training. And then I got the DM that, wait, we have a podcast today. So I grabbed his candy ass and I threw him in bed. So we're going to go out after. Yeah, he's been
Nice.
here for a couple days now. I do, while it's fresh on my mind, I want to do some, someone has been, like I briefly mentioned before we hit record, someone's been acting out of pocket. And it allows me to disclose more information about a dog that I'm training because I was sort of out of respect for some people that I no longer have respect for. Um, I was like withholding some details. It's nothing fucking crazy, but like with the rescue Malinois that I just got a few days ago that I'm training. Some individuals, an individual from the previous family that had him for over a year is acting incredibly. He's being very unique in some of his interactions with me and with the rescue people. Like the short version, and by no means, I mean, you could find, he left a comment recently on one of my posts. You could find it if you want it. I don't want anyone saying anything. It's really
It's not worth it. Yeah.
I mean, it doesn't. I also have no, like, this isn't a person that's like causing
No.
damage
No.
to
He's just salty.
people or dogs.
Yeah.
Yeah. So like, there's no motivation for me to be like mean. You know what I mean? Even though the guy in a roundabout ways accusing me of lying. Like, you could interpret it that he thinks I got facts wrong when I know that I don't. So I can get into that a little bit. But it was interesting. It's like you ruin a dog. Well, okay. Let me backtrack for a second. I talk a lot about how trainers blame dog owners for things. And I think that my selection process is so strict that I've become out of touch with the reality that sometimes, like, a lot of trainers do end up getting entangled, at least briefly, with people that are just not really easy to work with or very agreeable or aren't being totally honest about things.
I think a really typical one, not to get you sidetracked, but like super typical one is like one of the burn trains I have right now. Her mom created a shit ton of issues with touch sensitivity by just like the way she interacts with the dog is like very neurotic and just weird. There's a lot of stuff we could unpack there, but I can tell when I'm talking to her, she's just not listening. Like,
yeah,
she asked for help, is paying me for help, but then if I'm not telling her what she wants to hear, and she's constantly like, "Oh, you train with treats, right?" And I'm like, "Listen, you have given this puppy so many treats by 5 months old that it chooses when it wants to listen or not based on whether or not you're bribing it with a treat." Like, and probably the next time I see her, I will be a little bit honest with her where I'm like, dude, this is a safety issue. Like, you want to have your dog off leash. You need to have reliable recall that is not dependent on this dog seeing that you have a treat in your pocket or in your hand when you call it. Like, your dog's going to die if you can't instill a little bit of authority. Like, right. Again, nothing crazy. Like, she sees me working with the dog. The dog's perfectly happy, having a great time, tons of clarity, like really night and day difference in just a couple of weeks, like Simon a long board and train. And she's just like fighting me. And I'm like, dude, like, why are you here? Why are you here? It's so wild. Yeah. And she's like, oh, I want to do so many follow-up lessons. And I just see, like, every time I start talking, she just shuts it off. And I'm like, oh my God. I'm like, it's on me. I need to figure out how to communicate with her. But like, it is very frustrating. Well, anyway, so that is kind of
people that are in a financial situation, for people that are in a financial situation that necessitates seriously prioritizing booking lessons and stuff like that. It's like, dude, no one's forcing these people to do this ultimately. And it's not like the trainer in that type of scenario would be actively participating in a dog, like in an ongoing suffering and psychotic situation. It's more like someone is just throwing their money away and not getting the benefit for their dog out of it.
Yeah, it's so weird. Like, that's where I was like, dude, you're paying me and you're not doing anything.
You're just not caring. And
even if I'm like going to pay somebody for advice, I'm at least going to like try to take it on board. I might not be actually able to change like my diet or lifestyle or whatever, like fucking, pick whatever life coach. I don't even know, like other industries that you would get coaching or like business coaching. Like I've taken business courses before and I'm like, I'll at least go through the content and try. Might not
Right.
succeed in implementing it, but like it's wild to me when people pay thousands of dollars for a board and train and then are just like, no, I'm all set. Like,
Well, I was
what?
just about to
And
compare it to I was just about to compare to a dentist, but even when you don't listen to the dentist, you still got the cleaning, so that doesn't even count.
right. And you still probably like brush your teeth, even if you don't floss twice a
Right.
day. Like you're at least brush it.
Right.
You're doing like the bare
Right.
minimum. Anyway.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm very lucky that I can afford to not. So like for people that are stuck constantly having to deal with clients like that just because they're getting their business started or whatever, that sucks. I do remember taking on there were a couple. If I really thought hard, I've mentioned a little bit about like disaster board and train clients that I had early. Um, there's one that a bunch of like really nefarious people tried throwing back in my face recently from like 4 or 5 years ago, where the narrative is that I abandoned this guy and his dog, and the dog ended up getting rehomed or put down. I don't actually know. Um, and they ran with that narrative for a while, and I was like, I corrected the record, but of course, no one's gonna see it. But I was like, yeah, I stopped responding to this guy because he was in the news for having a sexual encounter with a teenage girl. So yeah, I stopped responding to that guy.
Yeah.
Fucking idiots.
Like
So yeah,
sorry
I
to the
wasn't
dog, but
I wasn't
yeah.
super when he texted me, "Hey, what's her face is growling" when I walk in the room. I was not like super cash money amped to talk to this guy. All right, when I see that he's having physical contact with children.
Yeah.
So yeah, and there was another. I had a stalker as a board and train client who I've talked about before, and actually, she sort of I had a brief interaction with her recently, which was really funny. Um, it was during the which career cancellation was it? It wasn't. I think it was the one before the porch. Um, I haven't really named it, but I saw her name. Her name is Megan Gesson. I saw her name pop up in a thread that was about me, and by the way, she looks like genuinely like a Michelin Man cosplayer. She's got like a list of mental health disorders. She's a pathological, she's crazy. But anyways, I saw her asking someone, wait, do you have information on him? Like she tries to be this, like, how I've said that psycho dog people think they're like investigative reporters and they want to be the one to crack the case. And she's kind of like in that little schizophrenia delusion world, and she asks someone, "Wait, do you have?" She misread someone's comment about me that was in support of me, and she read it as like, "Oh, you know something I don't." So she was like, "Wait, do you know something about Dylan? Can you like?" And I commented, "Hey, Megan, if I ever see you mention my name again, I'm releasing all of the messages. Let me know what you think." Because I have a bunch of messages saved from it's been how many years now? I don't know. Where she was a nightmare client. She was like stalking, like trying to get into a relationship with me. I have a bunch of messages between her and another trainer where she was asking the trainer about my personal life. It was fucking crazy. Like it was a nightmare. Anyways, to connect this back, and by the way, I've heard so many stories about how and her board and train ended with her being like, "It's amazing the relationship you developed with my dog. Like this is so cool. I love all this." And previously I had a conversation with her. I had to call her and be like, "Yo, we're not talking about anything other than your dog or training ever again. Like stop asking me about my friends. Stop asking me about how my day's going. Stop telling me about your car breaking down and your money problem." Like she was being like fucking weird, right?
Yeah.
Um she was
Boundary
making
crossing
like
there.
she made some physically suggestive comments on a couple things I said. It was just like fucking weird, and like not in a funny way, not in like a tasteful creepy way. Like um it was like fucking whoa. And I ended up calling her and be like, "Yo, like this is it is what it is. Like you're my dog training client. Like I don't know what you think this is, but like we're talking about dog training." Um, she was happy with the training, and then a month later, weeks later, she messages me. My dog came back with broken teeth. Um, I'm gonna have to pay for thousands of dollars of training for all the trauma you inflicted on him. Like I just like I read the message. I sent a full refund. I said, hey, I sent every dime you sent to me back. Don't ever message me again. Let me know if you got it. And she said, yep. And I said, don't ever contact me again. So that to connect it back to like the bad client thing, I think that you have to, that was like a legit nightmare. Um, and then people that had run into her before were like, it was crazy. I was telling this story one of the first times I was at school, and a guy from across the country, I was telling the story, and he goes, dude, is the chick's name? She said she's like morbidly obese and she's like a liar. I was like, yeah. She's like, is her name Megan? It's like, I stopped. I was driving a car. I stopped the car. I was like, yo, what? He was like, yeah, she showed up. She showed up at a club that I was at one time, and later faked that one of her dogs got injured and then demanded that the club paid veterinary fees. And he was like, which of the dogs of hers did you train? I was like, the poodle. And he was like, dude, that's the only dog she has that can do anything. And she tells everyone she trained him. It's like, oh my God.
Hilarious.
That was
Boy.
like right when I started my business. So anyways, to connect it, um oh, it's so funny. She like if you dude, oh my God. But if you're just starting your business, like you kind of can't be as picky. Because when I took her on, I knew I was like, this is like this person's weird. Nowadays, it would set she would set off my detector. I mean, she would also set off my Richter scale, but she would set off my detector, by walking. But she would set off my
Yeah,
detector in
got it.
like the first conversation, like first couple sentences, and I'd be like, I get the fuck out of here. But
Yeah.
sometimes you can't. You
Yeah,
have to
sometimes you
like
can't
learn
tell
those
until you're
lessons
like in a little bit
in.
deep too with the
Yeah,
client.
yeah.
Yeah,
And
which is tricky.
I had one other conversation with someone that I still I don't like mind this person, but she was very um annoying, where like we had clear conversations about the goals of the program, and she was like with a week left in the program making demands about other things, and I was like, yo, like, hey, like I called her, I was like, hey, we were very explicit about what we were trying to do here, and I'm not like, anyways. So I guess as a side tangent, you shouldn't be afraid to tell your client straight up, like you should be very honest, right? So to circle it back to this guy who I was very close to being honest with, but he stopped talking luckily. Hopefully when we get off the pod, he has not said something else. Um, but I've got this rescue Malinois, and it was the most scuffed. Like it was so funny. You would have, oh my God, if you had been watching. So they have like a chain of 4 people, 5 people, whatever, to get this dog to me. The drop off's happening in the back of a Cracker Barrel parking lot, and it's this nice old lady, and she's got the back hatch of her car open, and Aries is in there in a kennel, and I walk over, and she looks at me and she's like, are you gonna open the cage? Like, I think I have to, right?
Gonna
Like,
have to.
yeah. And she was like, okay, okay. And he had a leash on in there, and I opened the crate, and he went off, uh, like came flying out, like blowing up at me. And I'm just like standing there with a 5 foot leash, and I'm wearing my fucking Lululemon sweatpants. No, I don't think I was. I think I was wearing my training stuff. But he's went ballistic, and I
Was he
tried.
actually trying to bite or just kind of like reactive panicking? Or it was
No, there was
straightforward?
zero aggression. Zero aggression.
Okay. Okay. Yeah.
If he had
Yeah.
wanted a bite, I don't know if I would have been crawling away from that situation. Um,
Yeah.
but that is such an in the moment judgment call, and I think a level headed and fair assessment, because the amount of people that would have loved the ego trip of, I took on this crazy aggressive, you should have seen. And I almost, like, not almost, I wish I had it on camera so I could be like, do you think this was aggressive, like for real? Because the dog had a clear shot. He could have hit me anywhere on my body if he wanted. He did not do it. He actually wasn't even thinking about doing it. He wanted me to think about it. That was the point. Trying to get me to get away. Um, so I'm walking around the parking lot a little bit. I posted a clip of it, and his tail's tucked under his stomach, and he's just wrecked. He's trying to bolt for me, like it was kind of crazy. And the lady was, she's doing all that. And we've talked off camera. I kind of have I admit this, okay? I admit it, therefore it's okay. I have a problem with old people. Like I know that I have a problem, but
It's hilarious. What?
there's this. I think we've talked about this, maybe not.
No.
There's this. I have a serious, like, I'm actually like feeling my heart racing right now. I think that old people play up how feeble they are, and it drives me up a fucking wall, dude. It
That's
drives me up
funny.
a fucking wall. Like
Ah,
when, like, there's a viral video. The lady's okay. It's all fine. But there's a viral video. Grandma's gonna be the first one on the cruise. Have you seen that video?
no.
Where grandma has to step 4 inches, maybe, from the dock onto the ship, and she's right into the Pacific Ocean. Like and it's like, there's no way that is actually your physical capability level. You wouldn't be able to survive. Like you wouldn't be able to like prepare a meal for yourself, like walk to the bathroom. Like you'd get killed going to your mailbox. You would trip on a crack in the sidewalk. So like
Okay,
this, like,
so
anyways.
like there's two things, like, just not to get too deep on like armchair quarterbacking elderly people in America, but I think there are elderly people that do have accidents like that and do actually get themselves
No,
seriously injured. Like that is a reality. However, I think like
no, my
in
my
general, we're
grandma.
just physically incapable. As I mean, me right now, like I've complained to my friends about how physically incapable I am, and it like bothers the fuck out of me. Like that is the baseline of our society, is to be feeble. Like that's only going to get worse as you get older if you're not keeping your body in
No,
good condition. So like
no, I know.
unfortunately they probably
Listen, I
are
get it.
not
Listen, I get it.
exaggerating. It's probably reality, but it is frustrating. Like I hear
Well,
you, but yeah,
like
like
my
that's
my grandma,
funny.
my grandma Dixon was walking around her living room, fell on her face, and died. Man, the podcast just I just sucked the air out of the podcast. But just don't fall down. Like it's and like dude, like so like the lady. But feel me out though. So like you signed up to drop off this dog to me, right?
Yeah.
And it's like
Not knowing your limitations is the real problem here, for
and it's
sure.
like and by the way, the totally nice lady. I have no
Yeah.
problem with this lady. Like she was actually like really, we had a nice conversation, and she seemed really interested in what was going on. But like again, my bias, sort of my bigotry. I guess I'm like, I'm trying to handle Aries. Not 100% sure he's not going to bite me. Like the first interaction we had was him coming flying out of the crate, and like I'm handling him a little bit, making sure he doesn't get away from me, kind of keeping an eye to see if he's actually going to go ballistic. And I just see this old lady in the in the background. I'm like, I wanted to be like, "Yo, lady, get in your car." Like, I can't take this right now. Like, I can't.
It is
Um,
something that I struggle with, that is like kind of along those same lines that I think is pretty natural. Is like people have like a weird energy around a situation. Like if they're
yeah,
acting like fucking flighty, I'm like, dude, you need to calm down. Like
relax.
you
Let
need
me
to
think
do
about
that
like,
somewhere
you're
else.
right,
It's
right.
it's just distracting.
If it's
Yeah,
if it's a
that's
dog
not like
owner.
age specific. It's
Well, mine is age specific in a lot of ways. Like I actually get mad. I'm like, dude,
hilarious.
move, dude. You know what I mean? Move your body, pick up your feet. Like that's not, you know what I mean? I just
That's funny. Now
like
the new hot take from Dylan Jennings.
my dad's like 800 years old, and he's stronger than me. So I'm like, dude,
Interesting.
like I can't. He's had cancer 20 times. He has half of his body is made out of titanium. Like he's a fucking cyborg. And I'm like, and he's moving around doing shit. Like whatever. Um. So I get the dog, bring him home. I've posted some videos of him. It's actually been really cool. Totally fine, a cool dog, nice dog. Um, and I noticed on the email thread, it was the day before that they sent the dog. that this guy, the guy that had the dog before, was like in the email thread getting uppity with the rescue people.
Yeah.
And like, because they said something like, hey, ideally we place them in some place where people need to know what they're getting into when you meet them, like for a while around them. Like they're over embellishing some things because again, like this guy, I've mentioned other places. This guy over the phone was saying that this dog was primed to attack him and his family members on a daily basis. He said, I'm a police canine handler or a former police canine handler. I know what dogs look like when they're about to attack. And he's standing down the hallway, posture, like waiting to go off on me. So this guy is really, really selling this idea. And by the way, I'm not believing a word because, like I've said before, you can't take clients' stories as fact because they don't know what they're looking at, dude. You listen to it, you pay attention to it, you remember it, but you don't just assume everything that they say is correct. I actually assume it's wrong. That's just my bias. So but the detail here is obviously it's like, well, has he like mauled you before? No. It's like, well, then he's not going to because he would have. I'm not saying this to him when I'm on the phone because he's already given, like he's in the process of transferring the dog away. So it's not like I'm working with the guy. I'm just trying to get an idea of where the dog is at before I take him on a few days from then. Um, so the rescue is saying to the people, hey, like we need to make sure he ends up in a place that knows how to control him and can give him the things that he needs, blah blah blah. And this guy's, I take serious issue with what you're saying. He had plenty of that when he was with us, and I did all of this with him, and I did all of that. I had control over it. And it's like, okay, dude. Um, and then I posted, I don't know how he found my Instagram. I posted a video of me playing with Aries out at a park yesterday on a line, just like letting him run. And I was like, yeah, like this, what we're doing right now was achieved after nearly a year of a sedentary, dysfunctional lifestyle, which is true. The guys in the comment, this is totally couldn't be further from the truth. We played with him. We gave him so much attention. It was like, yeah, hey, dude, I was on the phone with you. All right. And like, I didn't say this part yet. You said that you don't take him anywhere and that you couldn't get him to play tug because he acted like holding things in his mouth was bad, and that you would roll a ball down your hallway and in your living room for him. And that even when he would chase it, he would act like something was wrong. So I'm going to help you out, dog. For a Belgian Malinois, that is a sedentary lifestyle.
Yeah. Yep.
So I'm not sedentary. I walk to the refrigerator. Like that's what you're saying right now. So
And I think
yeah,
unfortunately too, people think like giving him attention is like
right.
a pet. You know what I mean? Like people just
Right.
don't
So the dog.
understand.
So this guy, unfortunately, and this does not matter because it's personal to me. But I don't delete comments unless, like I've said, I don't delete comments unless someone is going nuts about one of my clients and it's totally unfair, or whatever. So I leave that up, and the usual suspects are going to see, look, Dylan lied about a dog he's training, and did he lie about this dog? And it's just like, it doesn't. It's like once you hit a point where you realize that there's nothing you can do about it, it stops bothering you. But that's the screenshot of this guy saying that's wrong or whatever is going to be circulating. All of the dog killers and freaks and my biggest fans are going to be like finger blasting themselves over that. And it's like this dude again, like bad dog owner, is utterly convinced because I just yesterday had a phone call with the lady that fostered Aries before he went to this family. And she was like, I watched that video you posted and I don't recognize that dog. What did they do to him? What did they do to him?
Wow.
I cannot believe like the things that I'm seeing. And I'm talking to the rescue and I'm like, there's no, how? He's charging people and biting people and he's afraid and I'm like, this is not the dog that I lived with.
That's telling.
So this guy is in this state of just everyone's wrong but me. Everyone's a liar but me. It's like, dude, you're the one that
It's a lot
ruined
of
the dog.
projection there. Yeah. No.
Right. It's like, well, the dog's been with me for 3 days and he's like hanging out with my 5 and 3-year-old sons and greeting people at the door and running around. He's going to be off. Like I took him out off leash this morning for the first time to potty. Like, so he could be totally off leash in public parks in like days. And you're saying you didn't do anything with him because you were afraid of him. And the guy, I told you this too, before when I was trying to be respectful, that's gone. The dude was convinced that Aries Like the dude would hang up his towel like after a shower or something, and Aries would go into the towel and run through and like serpent slither through it and do all this funny shit. This was so concerning to this guy that he sent a video of it to the rescue. And he was telling me, he was like, I heard that this is him like claiming control. And I'm like, dude. So it's like, yeah, there's gonna be some amount of people that look at that and go, Dylan's lying, the rescue's lying. This is a conspiracy, like this poor family. It's like,
Yeah. I think more
it's
broadly, it
crazy.
is kind of a sad, like, again, Malinois people, I mean, working dog people in general, like the breed is starting to get more popular. And like, this is why it's frustrating because people ruin these dogs
Yeah.
unintentionally with no like ill will, but they have no
Right.
understanding of what they need, of who they
Oh
are.
well. I also I should mention too. The dude, because I was being respectful. The dude doesn't know that I'm good friends with a trainer that worked with him,
Mhm.
and I know what the guy said to me about them and how they were doing, and it was not good. He said that they don't understand this dog at all, and they're way too militant with him, and they're like breaking the dog's
Yeah,
heart.
it sounds like probably the dog
So
was just over micromanaged, shut down constantly. It
zero
probably
trust,
wasn't.
zero trust.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
like
there's no
a
trust.
death by 1,000 cuts kind of thing.
Right.
Yeah.
No, like casual little. And I'm being fair. Like I don't. They didn't do this on purpose. I don't think that they're like bad people trying to crush dogs. It's just that
Correct.
with an emotionally sensitive dog, intelligent, easily impressionable dog, these
And I
little
don't think people
passing
realize
moments.
how emotionally sensitive Malinois are.
Hmm.
They
Yeah,
look like badasses, but they
they can be
need it
devastated.
with their handler.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah. So these little passing moments throughout the day, hey, like that, which maybe you had a lab mix and he would hear them go, okay, dad. And like, it's fine. Maybe for this dude, he's like, wasn't even clear why you were yelling at him in the first place. And that level of bluntness was just chipping away at him. And now he's like, dude, I don't. And this is the last thing on this because I don't. It's just, I think it's useful to talk about like where regular people go
Yes.
wrong and they
Yeah.
like just are
And how
oblivious in
these
some
problems
ways.
occur. Like I even mentioned this one trend I have right now. It has an insane touch sensitivity just
Hmm.
from
Yeah.
the mom interacting with it in a very particular way. That's just not
Well, check this
acceptable.
out. Check this out. Okay. So
Yeah.
it's
That
like
happens all
the
the time.
rescue. The rescue, the first person that had him initially, that got him initially, said, "This is a great dog." The foster that lived with him for X amount of months said he's a fantastic dog and does not recognize where he was at when he came to me. And I am saying this is a fantastic dog that's just kind of sensitive, and there's some habits. There's some interesting. There actually is an interesting problem I do want to talk about. I just posted a video on my Facebook and on my Patreon about it involving the crate. But the problems are like just general Malinois problems and things like that. And then finally, you've got the dog owner who's like, well, he's growling and snapping and going crazy at me because he has some sort of severe derangement and some disorder. It's like, well, dude, and here's the buried lead in this whole thing. He doesn't like you, man. He hates you. That's if you were my client, I would tell you that. So like if we were trying to salvage it and trying to keep him in the home, and say you were down the road from me, we were doing in-home meetups, I'd be like, yo, dude, he doesn't like you, man. Like he's telling you to fuck off because he doesn't want you around. This is not some pathological, crazy, twisted series of disorders and emotions. He is just
Broken
saying this guy
relationship we need to
sucks.
fix.
I
Yep.
don't like you. We need to get back to like baseline. How do you healthily interact with a dog, right? Um, and it's really unfortunate because the son in the home was great with the dog, and Aries loved him, and like they were more delusion and things that they probably heard from trainers they're reading online. They were convinced that, oh, he's just guarding the son. He's just possessive over the son, which is just a deflection. Because I'm like, yo, well, your son's not there all the time. Does he do those things to you when he's not there? Yeah, of course. It's like, well, then,
Or it's not to do with the sun.
uh, so there's, we're kind of weeding variables out, and
Yes.
we're corroborating multiple accounts of people that have been with the dog, and
There's
we're
conclusions we
analyzing
can
it all.
draw
There's like
here. Yeah.
there's like one factor that seems to just be hammering every single time. So yeah, I hope the guy doesn't comment again, because I will crush him, just because I have to publicly refute someone saying I'm a liar. I would never fucking lie about a dog like that. If anything, I've gone if anything, I may act a little bit too much on the dog's behalf, and I try to check myself against that, because I'm so upset. Like I'm always trying to think the best of them. So I have a bias, and if I have a bias at all in any situation, it's actually in the dog's favor, not to their detriment. I would never try to take a dog who's up for adoption and be like, he's been living a horrible, terrible lifestyle and now he's a mess. I would never do that, because it hurts his chances of getting adopted. Look, these people ruined this dog and now he's a monster. No, I'm not. No, that's ridiculous. Other people do that. I don't do that. Yeah, he's not sedentary. We pet him.
Right. Right. I mean, literally, that's what people say. It's crazy. Or even like
Yeah.
going
So
for like a walk around the block is enough, and it's just like, oh, just sad.
it's crazy.
Sad. Yeah.
It's crazy.
Anyway.
Anyways, interesting problem
Yes.
that was identified. All right. This is cool. I went to put him in his crate, and he didn't like that, right? So he's like, well, he's bucking and doing all those types of things. And within the first 10 seconds of me checking this, I was like, this seems oddly committed, oddly
Mm,
intentional.
yes.
Like it didn't feel like
A genuine
fear.
panic response. Yeah. Yeah.
Right. It didn't, it felt much more like a
He's learned
turning
how
my head,
to.
like,
Yes. Yeah.
right. But
Yeah.
but in a package, and this is a very Malinois thing that I've learned, being around a lot of them at school and stuff, is that um they can be almost they can put on that picture of like a sad, appeasing dog
Yes.
while bullying somebody.
Correct.
And it's really funny. It
They're
is
very
actually
instrumental in
funny.
their behavior.
Right.
It's
And it's
yeah.
it's charming in a way. It's charming, like the almost
It's
devilish
clever. It's
intelligence.
clever. Yeah.
Right. Right. And like I'm laughing at him. I'm like, dude, you're so I knew, I was like, this is interesting. So I put up a tripod, and I was like, I'm gonna record this. And I go to, hey buddy, come on. And I'm not going in there, whatever. And I give him a little, hey dude, like, come on. And I go to put him in, and he snaps at my arm a little bit. I'm like, like I said to the camera, I'm like, I want to just, like, we're not going to risk getting into an actual fight right now. But I am curious, with the knowledge that he's been bounced from 2 homes now, I'm curious to see where this goes if I assert myself a little bit longer.
Mhm. Well, and why was the
And
transporter that terrified of mine too? That might make a
right,
little more
right, right,
sense. Yeah. Yeah.
right. So like I'm very much in like I don't have actual history on this dog because I wasn't there, and the people involved don't know what they're looking at. But all I know is he's been bounced from 2 homes, and like that's not good. So if there's something like actually going on, this is a good opportunity for me to, check to see what he's capable of. And he escalates to the I'm gonna wrap my arms around you thing and stand up on 2 feet. And he ends up wrapping his head around me and biting my fupa, my lower back fat. He hit me with a like a little, and it wasn't like crazy. It left a bruise, but it wasn't like
Oh, yeah.
a,
Yeah. A puncture.
but
Yeah.
it was like a, like a little
Yes.
snap bite. And I was like, all right, we don't have the tools to deal with this right now. We just don't have it. But a really interesting phenomenon appeared. I went out to start training with him the next morning. And of course, previous owner says he won't play tug. He's playing tug. There are weird thing, like hesitations and
Blockages. Yeah.
things. Yeah, but it's not crazy. It's not like nuts. Like it's at a level where even I think I have a good chance at addressing it. And I'm not particularly good at addressing possession issues. I'm not. I'm much more of a fetch cuck. You know that. Everybody knows that. Um, but and I'm recording the training in the event that something interesting shows up. And we're like 5 minutes into training and playing, and I'm like, hey, he's being way too compliant. I might need to start doing different things to try to draw out any moment where we can kind of resolve something. And I decide to put a little duration on the down. So I put him into the down and I step back and I slap the toy in my hand and he breaks. I go, hey, hey, and I go to bring him back. And now he won't down. Now he's like, I don't know what that is. And he's like dive bombing onto my feet and leaning into me. And now he's jumping on me and I'm trying to push him off. And when I go with my hand to lightly push him off, he's giving like his full body weight into my hand. And he's driving into me. And his ears are flat and his like all of those types of, and I was like, whoa, hey, this is like a 50% version of what he was doing last night at the crate. And suddenly he's the most non-compliant, weak, I don't know what you're talking about, dog in the world. And he was just going bang, 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 bang. Um, and I recorded that session, the session after that, and I recorded everything up until and after addressing the crate problem directly and then showing where we got to with it. But yeah, I mean, we used play to draw out those moments with the down, where he was going into that zone, that sort of defiant little baby zone. And I do think that there were some negative emotions mixed into that because I
Yeah, I
think that
want
the
to
concept of
deconstruct
it,
that a little bit. Yeah.
yeah, because we can actually do that now because he certainly is being defiant, but he also doesn't feel great about it. And my hypothesis is because of how he had been treated in the last home, I believe the concept of being taken to task or held to account is injected or infused with default negative emotions.
Yeah. And that's what I
So,
want to dissect, right? Because I've seen this happen before
uh,
too with dogs. And again, people inadvertently create it, and or the dog's character is just a little bit softer and they throw out appeasement behaviors pretty quickly when they feel any form of pressure, like that's their default. And it's this interesting paradox between, and we've talked about it before, where like those are the dogs that need very clear negative reinforcement. We can talk about punishment too, but like I think negative reinforcement almost more specifically here, because they cannot understand the concept of pressure being productive for them. Like it just
mhm.
sends them into this very, negative headspace. They only know how to solve that perceived problem in
Eh,
one
yeah.
way. Yes. And they get really stuck in it and committed to it. And then usually what happens, like, let's say you have a golden retriever puppy, it's 4 months
Mhm,
old. I actually just had a private lesson client that they're having a ton of trouble walking this puppy on leash, and immediately identified that the puppy had just like put on the brakes a couple of times and they had just sort of let it uh, and let it resolve the pressure via digging in and not wanting to walk. They're like, oh, our puppy doesn't want to go on a walk. And I'm like, step it on a flexi, let it have some freedom, show it one time, like, hey, yeah, I'm going to basically win this tug of war. Like, I'm not going to let you just sit here. The pressure isn't going to turn off because you planted
mhm,
your butt down. And then it comes forward and it's like, oh, okay, that can be a solution to the problem as well. Like, that wasn't appeasement behavior, but like you could see, and the owners were like, this is a problem. And it did take the puppy like 30 seconds to unstick from that. And I'm like, yep, I could
mhm,
absolutely see this becoming a real fight 6 months down the road with a more adult dog. But
mhm.
people just take off the pressure in like the worst moments. It's like that
Yeah.
happens with appeasement behavior too. Or, they go to give the puppy a little like, put it in the crate or something, and it kind of like balks, and they're like, "Oh, I'm so sorry, I'm so sorry." And then the puppy's like, "Okay, cool, like that solved my problem." And then it becomes this real. If that doesn't work in the first 5 seconds, they're gonna dig into that harder. And then it
Right.
gets worse, spirals and spirals and spirals. And they just never looked for another option to try to resolve that pressure. And you have to really, really show them, like, no, dude, I am literally just telling you I need you to go
Yeah.
back and put it down. And like
Right.
patience them through that. And I think that like that type of defiance is really interesting because it is
Yep.
it is really easy to accidentally escalate that or sort of misdiagnose it as like
Right.
that moment misunderstanding of the command. And it's not a misunderstanding of the command, it's a
Right.
misunderstanding of their relationship to pressure and negative reinforcement. And teaching those dogs how to sort of like take a correction, for lack of a better word, that's the big like light bulb moment. And you say the same happened with people, right? Where like people that have grown up in some like toxic family dynamics, like every time there's a problem, it's this huge deal. And they have a hard time with criticism. Like it's immediately like, oh my God, the world's ending. And it's like, no, actually,
Yeah.
I can tell you got the math problem. Like it's okay. But it's the relationship to that piece of social communication that's just damaged. Anyway, I went off on that a little bit. Do you have a thought?
That it can be misdiagnosed in probably how many different ways? There's what you said, which is kind of like the IQ misdiagnosis, which is like obviously the dog's just like doesn't
Didn't
is
understand. It
retarded.
was too
The reason,
hard.
but
Yep.
the way you get to he's retarded is you know in your mind he was just going into the down perfectly fine 2 minutes ago, and suddenly just I don't know be fucking and now he can't do it anymore because he doesn't know that signals sort of like a low estimation of intelligence of the animal, right? And I don't think people do that deliberately most of the time. I think it's just
No.
I
Well, it's
actually
funny, right?
talk
Because
about
they're
it.
like kind of sort of sometimes getting on the track of like, oh, it's an emotional regulation issue, but they're doing it in the wrong way. They're like, oh, this was too much stimulation. That was too hard. Like too high into the prey drive, and they weren't able to come down. And it's like,
Yep.
like you're getting there, but still no. Like it could have been any distraction and any mistake on his part. And immediately when you apply, it could have been the crate situation. That's not too hard for him. It's the fact that you tried to apply pressure. He
Right.
took it badly.
Right. And I did realize, and I did this, I recorded a control rep where I throw a treat into the crate and he runs it.
Yep. He doesn't have an issue with it. Yeah.
And that was that same morning. He had no problem. And that's how we got away for a few days. I just did that. I appeased him because we weren't
Right.
ready
Well,
to have
I was
that,
going to ask,
that
clearly
moment.
you got him in the crate. I was wondering how you
Yeah,
did
just
that.
tossing
Which
food.
that
He
makes
never
sense.
he
Yeah,
never
dog.
resisted, and he wasn't racing to get back out of the crate either. So he was like, I go into the crate to get the food, and I'm in the crate now. So it had nothing to do with the crate. And so in the video, I'm just shilling the Patreon. It is a really good video though.
Yeah.
Day-to-day
Well,
dog training.
and I think like a lot of people would again assume that you're going to resolve that in a certain way, and it's probably different than what people think
No,
it is.
it was a largely play-based solution, which is always fun. But I did talk about how the misdiagnosis of the dog like not knowing the down would be the very popular and also safe thing to say because it's sort of the just default like content creator class non-dog trainer people. That's just their blanket.
It's a blanket go to. The other thing that made me think of too is people make this so much worse by misdiagnosing it, and then the way that they'll resolve it, they put the pressure on the dog, and then they go, "Oh, sorry." Take the toy back out, take the food back out, lower the dog into it. And now we've just allowed the dog to escape the pressure, via all of that appeasement behavior, gone back to bride.
So gross.
It's just,
so
you're
gross.
completely skirting around the issue constantly and probably making it worse every time. Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
You're actually making it harder if you ever decide to actually go try
Correct.
to
To use
it.
negative. Yeah.
Right.
Again, like
now the dog has another false hope to cross off in his mind. You know what I mean? It's a total fucking mess.
Yeah.
But that
And like that doesn't look like bad training. Like I think this was so interesting
Right.
about it. Like that looks like, oh, you kind of solved the problem. You got the dog to down, but it's like, oh, you left
At what
a
cost?
really
Yeah.
deep-seated issue
Yeah.
still
Right.
intact there and in fact
There
reinforced. Yeah. Yeah.
there was a but that, just to briefly, um slop content creators with online programs need you to believe that dogs require 15,000 reps in an empty room because that's how they sell their bullshit programs to you.
Yeah. And if it's not working, you're not
That's
doing it enough. Yep.
right. And it's also, it allows them to not have to think at any level about dog behavior. They can just blanket statements say less distractions, go back in the house, less distractions, go back in the driveway. Like they can just default say that to anyone without actually knowing the dog or seeing the dog. And it's a fucking information nightmare, catastrophic. And I was poisoned by it. I remember feeling like the only reason a dog ever doesn't do a command is because we didn't practice it 25,000 times, which is insane. And it's an insult to the dogs. But um, the other two ways to fuck this up with Aries would be to be really physically hard, like to inject more
Correct.
conflict.
Yes. And I think that's what people
Um,
would kind of expect you to do. Like
oh, for
if it's
me,
like, oh,
they would,
you
yeah.
don't lower it back into the down, what is the
The other
alternative? Go
option,
harder. And
yeah,
it's like,
yeah,
because like those are the two ways to be bad. Either
right,
circumvent the pressure or go so fucking hard on the pressure that it's just
right,
insane and unproductive. Yeah.
yep,
I keep
yep.
interrupting you.
And it's the false dichotomy, and it's not. By the way, it's not that the right answer is a middle ground. It's that those two answers are retarded, and they have nothing to do with anything effective.
Very true.
There's no like based fedora centrist meme. Like if you're a dog training centrist, you're a pussy. This is about doing the right thing, things that work. So the actual answer, and the other another way to go, which would be totally wrong, is, I mean, it's kind of in the same vein, the whole like he doesn't know it, but it would be to pamper the dog. Um and to just be like, oh well, he's been through, obviously he lived in a ill-suited home, and he was really scared when I picked him up, and he's afraid of people, and his tail was tucked, so we need to really slow down, and thresholds, and be, it's like, no dude, like that's also not, you don't want to validate any like weak feelings that he has. Like I
Yeah, it would
want him to
leave him in
know
a
he's
really
okay.
bad space
Yeah.
mentally. Yeah.
So the actual answer is to say, everything's all right. I'm not going anywhere. You have to do this, and that's okay. Um, that that if you can like synthesize that and just use that, it's absurdly powerful, and like a genuine showing of intentions, like the
Yep.
emotions.
Yep. I
Um,
think then too, like to connect this back to our last podcast, we're like, if you're really, really struggling, like at least get some compliance again. Like even if it's not the full on down, get him to like drop his head or give to the leash pressure a little bit. It doesn't have to be, because I think too, sometimes people can like get a little bit out of that spiral and then they get a little bit like, okay, I have to like get it all the way. And that
uh-huh.
the dog gets back into that. And then you're kind of like stuck.
Yeah.
Like it's okay to just get a little bit better, but at least you're addressing the root cause, not
Right.
allowing the appeasement to stop the allowing cooperation to stop the pressure and then go back and play.
Right.
Take it off for 5 minutes, go back to it again. Like you don't have to get back to the full down, slapping it on your hand, he holds it and then reward. Like ideally, yes, but like that doesn't have to happen in one
We didn't in that one.
situation. Okay.
I
Yeah.
don't think in that one situation we may have gotten like one more of those, but it was a
Yeah.
matter of getting back into the compliant state of mind.
Correct.
And we were using the down again, but I really, especially in play is just so goated. I'm able to release him and just get the emotional engine running hot again. And like we walk off the field, and we spent long periods of time during that outing with me popping a leash, putting my hand under his belly, telling him, hey, come on, down, let's go, down. And like half the session. I mean, you can watch the full unedited thing on my Patreon, but like you can see for yourself, we're out there for a half hour and large periods of time where me, quote unquote, getting on him, and we walk off the field like it was the best day of his life. Because play is just so ridiculous. So that there was a comment that I had a really bad reaction to. One of the things that's kind of funny that's unavoidable is that sometimes I'll have a bad reaction to a comment, and from the outside it'll look like I really overreacted. But me personally, I recognize the name, and it's someone that's just been persistently toxic and terrible for a really long time. So if you're just like a casual passerby, it's like, why did Dylan say, like, oh my God, I have this old lady that just says she's like a Susan Garrett apologist, Shikashio apologist. And she commented on my Aries video, like, I don't see any behavioral issues with this dog. And I said, I was like, it's you're really old and luckily don't have much longer to live, and your family's not going to care when you die. So like if you're a passerby and you see that, it's like, whoa.
It's unhinged.
But she has been like consistently saying horrible, insane shit about my dogs for like a long time. Anyways, there was a comment about Aries and like because I posted a clip of that session with Aries with the down, and I don't show the full set. Like it was just a little Facebook clip. It was probably like a couple minutes. Whereas the full video with everything's over an hour. But I gave enough context where like if you know what you're looking at, you can, like, people in the comments were piecing together what was going on. And she comments, "You're injecting conflict into the training." And I'm like, yo, I like can't imagine that's it's like the thing I think about is like someone's poisoned and dying and a doctor goes to inject the antivenom and someone screams he's about to stab this man. It's like, dude, you're seeing this visual, like, unga bunga with no thought, like with zero critical thought, zero like, and then I was like, yo, you're dumb as fuck or something like that. And then she goes on like, why would you do this? Why would you? And then she finally comments, you know what? I'll be honest, I didn't actually watch the video, and I did, and like I think I understand. I'm like, yo, dude, like go, like, jump in front of a fucking car, dude. Like, honestly, what is wrong with these fucking people? Crazy.
The commenting
I'm
so authoritatively without having
and being like, I
watched
actually
it
didn't
is
watch the video.
wild.
Yeah,
Yeah, like
yeah.
I even sometimes hesitate on stuff I say on here because I'm like, I'm not 100%
Right.
certain. And
I
I'm
haven't
like,
seen it.
oh
I
my
haven't.
God.
Yeah. Or maybe I watched that video a while ago and I don't remember exactly
Yes.
what was
Yeah.
said, and I'm like,
But I'm going to make a
you know,
bold, audacious statement
right,
like that. Yeah.
right. And it's like you're sitting in front of the click button, the play button, and it's like you're 14 seconds into a minute and a half video or something, and you just don't. It doesn't occur to you to just watch it if you're whatever. I will say this. That's
Insane.
the first admission. The first admission I can think of ever where someone said, "I'll be honest, I didn't actually watch the video."
Yeah. I mean, good for her at least
Usually
on
people
that.
don't say that. Usually people don't say that. They don't say that. It's just you either didn't watch it or you're deliberately ignoring large swaths of it. But people will never say that. So that was the first time. But yeah, that and we talked about it. We talked about it last time with the negative reinforcement, where people get scared because it doesn't look like your food luring. Like it doesn't look, but
The
it's
ears
just
don't
like,
stay up. Yep.
right. Like, but it's just like, what are your priorities? Like, why are you here? I know why I'm here. Why are you here? If you're worried about the way things look and you're not worried about the welfare of the dog, then you shouldn't be here.
Yep. Well, and
So,
ironically, once you push through to the other side, the dog's ears will come back up. Like I think I don't know
oh
if I
my God.
mentioned it on this last episode when we talked about negative reinforcement specifically, but I know I've mentioned it before that the best sport trainers that I highly respect, the dog's ears the entire time, tails that like beautiful body language. And I know like it looks, the dog does not look pressured. Like what we say in sport is like, if the dog's body language is bad, it's like, oh, like he looks pressured. And we don't want to see pressure
Hmm.
on the competition field. But I know that those trainers have put the dog through negative reinforcement learning phases where the dog is gonna be a little bit stressed, but because it's clear, it's contingent, it's consistent, like all of the things that we preach, because it's good negative reinforcement, the dog is like, yep, understood, and the emotion stays beautiful. So like day that you present it and the dog has learned like, okay, these are the rules of the game, this is how I stay in bounds, and it's beautiful. But those aren't people that don't use pressure, it's people that use pressure super super effectively, and people are
Right.
afraid to like push through to get to the other side. But like that pushing through the stress and the pressure is like the whole fucking point, like especially when it comes to sport. Like that's where it does tie into behavior mod for me, is like that's the art. Like that's what you need to know
Hmm.
how to do, is you see Arius go, I don't know about this. And you're like, hey, dude, you can do it. Like, just work with me. And you get through it. And he's like, oh, that wasn't so bad. And then you go back to playing and it's rinse and repeat. And he's like, all right, sick. When I break it down and you go, oh, and do a little tap on my collar, I don't have to crumble into this really negative, weak appeasement behavior that just feels bad. Like, that's not a good state of mind for any animal to be in long term.
This morning I smacked him on the nose with the retractable leash, which we can talk about later too.
Yeah.
Um, unrelated situation.
Okay. Yeah.
But it's a weird. I'm in a little bit of like a gratitude phase. I go through like waves of gratitude phases where
Nice.
like
Love that for you.
I think about, no, it's gay, but like I think about it, I'm like, how grateful am I that he bit my fupa? Because I'm like in that moment, I'm like, okay, like I get you're basically telling me what's wrong, and it happened early and very clearly, and then the gratitude comes in where I'm like, dude, like even just a few years ago, if this happened, I'd be sweating. I'd be having like a full blown fucking panic attack. I'd be like, oh my God, what's he planning to do next? I'm supposed to help place this dog in a home. Oh, did I make things worse? Does he hate me? And then I'd be like, I can never pop the leash. I'd be fucking mortified.
Lawn
And it's
avoidance.
just,
Yep.
I love, it's just the total flip where like, I'm glad it happened because it's just like an easy opportunity where I'm the only one that gets a little bit, it's not a big deal, a little banged up, whatever. But he gets to show me like that's what is going on. I can feel the problem. He learned that performatively panicking and being pathetic has gotten him out of things. And he likely learned that early on. The first couple times he was counter surfing or like, carrying a slipper and so whatever. And it did break his heart. He dives to the ground or crawls onto their lap and holds on to them for dear life. And then suddenly, it's okay, buddy. And the emotional whiplash, the reinforcement there is like nuclear.
Mhm. Also,
That's
that's what
like
people think
devastating.
punishment is. Like
Right.
that's
Oh,
how they
oh
like
my
fun
God.
apart, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's
Yes.
horrible.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. They do. They
Anyways,
do.
I
They do.
cut you off.
No, they do. They do. And that first session that's in the Patreon video was a largely negative reinforcement session. Um, but I
Sorry, I just
started
want to go back
introducing punishment.
before we move on to the punishment. Um, you mentioned when you were trying to get him into the crate that you stopped because you were like, we don't have the tools for this right now.
Yeah.
It would be interesting to unpack like what you mean by that, because I think a lot of people will be like, well, why didn't you just sort of force it then?
Oh, we could have gotten into like an actual fight. He's a Belgian Malinois. Like he may have actually scrapped with me. And like at that At that point, what am
Like,
what
what
am I
was the
proving to this
tool that
dog?
you needed, like, mentally?
The two things. I mean, just calling it authority is too reductive.
No, I
But
know,
the
yeah.
thing that the thing we identified, the problem being that the concept of authority has been packaged with a bunch of awful emotions. So that needed to be proven wrong at least a few times. Like, it doesn't have to, like, just having someone be like, "Hey, you know, I'm kind of being serious," does not have to be accompanied with yelling, screaming, and chaos. So that's the first thing. The second thing is we needed to have punishment.
Okay,
Um,
yeah.
and
Because what I
not
kind of wanted to get to is
necessarily
like, did you feel like you had to resolve the point one? Did you feel like you had to resolve that in play? Or do you feel like had it been a few more days in, just with like living with the dog, that you could have resolved it then without it getting into a fight? Like, that's what I was kind of like
uh
getting to the point of like
I would have had
practicing this
to,
stuff in a lower stakes environment, like building
yeah,
the skill set mentally for the dog and then bringing it into the place where he's actually having a problem. Like, that's kind of what I
it
was
could be
curious
done.
about.
Like, it could very well be done without play, and I have to do it without play all the time because I train horrible dogs. Um, but like with a Mal, it's
Yeah,
just like,
that was the
you
better
know,
way. Yeah.
oh, well, he goes a year, well, the play, he looks, he's playing with me on my floor 30, 40 minutes after he gets dropped, like, whatever. If it's there, play is better than absolutely everything. I will hear nothing from anybody else until I start seeing dogs. Um, but around the house, no, it would take way too long because you'd have to come up with excuses to get on him. But the way that I typically end up doing this, and this isn't an either or, we are going to be doing this. It's actually part of our training plan for today. We're going to go out on walks and I'm going to be negatively reinforcing commands. That here, but here's the thing though. Here's the thing. The advantage, and like I'm on record saying this. Hey. I'm on record saying this, that my favorite way to train dogs is actually out on walks and on long lines and off leash with negative reinforcement and the release command. That is actually how I like to train dogs. But play is better. There's one, like, the most relevant, maybe not the most, one of the most relevant advantages that play training has over that is that it's, instead of like gradually recovering the emotions after you kind of have to have a thing, you can actually like adrenaline shot the
So it's
emotions,
like, not to
like
like push you
flip
onto a
it.
point, but that's kind of what I wanted to like get to with the crate situation, is that you're kind of like, the reason it would have escalated into a fight is that there's not really a good way to like recover the dog,
Yeah, yeah,
and like guarantee that that's going to happen, especially early on in a
mhm,
relationship with the dog. Like, even like a couple weeks in, you can kind of be like, hey, what do you say, and like kind of just show them
right.
socially that you're
Oh
good.
yeah,
But like a
yeah.
couple days in, you don't have a way to pull them out of
No,
that spiral, and like that's the problem. So like, I think,
but
just to kind of, the
yeah,
point I wanted to make is, I think people would hear what we're saying about like, oh, you have to address it, you have to go through the pressure, don't let that work. And then you encounter a situation where the dog is showing this behavior, but you don't have the baseline relationship tools, skills, whatever you want to
yeah,
call it. You don't have that in place. There are times where you go, I'm going to throw a treat in the crate and come back to this later. And that's okay. Like,
hmm,
you don't have to get into a fight with the dog in that moment. That's going to set you back. Like, don't do that. Like, just
yeah,
get out of it safely, note it,
yeah,
logistically figure out what you need to do with the dog in that moment. Like, just get him in the crate and then come back to it later. But if you try
yeah,
to do something right then, probably gonna get yourself in trouble. And it's at best not going to be super productive. That's just kind of what I wanted to like unpack with that, is when we say like, I didn't have the tools at the moment, like, what does that mean? And it sounds a little bit contradictory to what we were saying before, but yeah, like, it's okay to sort of have both of those things in play at the same time. But Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, the problem's not going anywhere.
Right. Yeah.
He's been like this for at least a year,
Yeah.
and it's not going to get worse while we are
That one rep
developing.
that you're like, oh no, I let him win without a like that's okay.
Right,
It's fine. He's done it a
right.
hundred
Well,
times
I mean, it,
before.
it
One
comes
more of the
it
bag is not
comes
going to kill you.
it's linked to the cucks that are so freaked out by bite suit training with aggression cases. They are utterly convinced that allowing a dog to bite you on a suit a couple times is going to make this dog so much worse. It's like, dude, it's such a fundamental misunderstanding. Anyways, because that's assuming even the bite on the suit is reinforcing at all. But if you're
Correct.
running a prediction error, it probably wasn't. You
Right.
fucking, oh my God, I hate people, dude. It's making me sick. These
Anyway,
poor
back to our
dogs, man.
gratitude.
These poor dogs. Yeah, I know. But yeah, like, but the things that we need, the thing is too that there really isn't, like, why try to resolve something in a brawl when I'm like incredibly confident that we can make this very smooth, and I'm not saying permissive. Like, I punished him at the crate. Part of the video, in the video, all right, in the video. But you get to see the difference between me trying to put him in, and by the way, this happened over the course of like 2.5 days. So it's not like this was just a trust thing. It wasn't. I was already the best friend he had ever had in like a day. Like, because I know how to play with him, and like we're doing things, and he's like, okay, this is my
You
boy.
saw him. Yeah.
Yeah, and he was trying to bolt from me, like, and just, yeah, exactly. I'm treating him like a dog, and like in a really good, fun way. So he thinks I'm intriguing. Like he's like, yeah, let's do stuff, but it wasn't. So we needed the default certainty that someone asserting themselves is bad. We needed that to be reversed, right? We needed, what the fuck was I about to say? Oh, something I wanted to say too about the comfort thing, and like the trust and like all of that is, yes, it's important. But keep in mind that I am pretty convinced that the affection and the nice talk was part of this whole thing, meaning that he drops into his pant, like, and then people start petting him off of the, away from the ledge, and then he gets out of whatever situation. So merely doing that without the authority would actually continue to make this worse.
Well, and what's interesting is he believes, like, that doesn't build any trust because he believes that if he didn't do that, he was going to get his ass beat.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
he
So
just
it's actually
thinks
like
that
an
he
abusive relationship.
correct.
Yes,
Like,
yes.
that doesn't build trust on your part because he doesn't know that you wouldn't have done it. Like, he thinks that you
No,
were capable
correct.
of beating his ass and you didn't do it because of what he did, not because you chose not to do it, which would have built the
Yeah.
trust. So it's like, it's just
Yeah.
a self-fulfilling prophecy in his head that does nothing for the
Yep.
relationship. Yeah.
100%. Yeah. So I still am using some reassurance, but I'm making it very clear that this isn't ending. It's not ending until I say it's ending, until it's done. But that doesn't mean, it's just crazy, like how diplomatically these things can be navigated and resolved in ways that are still very assertive. I'm very assertive with dogs. Very assertive. Like I don't hide that. And the reactions that I get, like you would expect, like, I know not you obviously, but like a lot of people would expect that there must be some crazy antics going on to get that reaction. It's like, dude, I promise you guys are seeing what's happening.
Again, it's like, it's just the healthy authoritative parenting versus permissive or
Right.
authoritarian. Like, it is like,
Dude, he's
it is
wearing
that simple.
he's wearing a flat martingale collar. And so it's like, and by the way, there's nothing, so it's not, I'm obviously I'm not anti-aversive, and I'm not anti-tool.
But it doesn't have to be
done with an electric collar. But
yes.
it doesn't
Again, the
it can
tools are
be done
arbitrary.
so
Yep.
Right. And I very well, this could have been done with a prong collar. There'd be nothing wrong with that. Could have been done with the e-collar. There's nothing wrong with that. But I just want to demonstrate that like this can be a super casual, even with Belgian Malinois, who's like repressed and jacked up and who is coming in looking to argue.
Uh-huh.
And no, it's not serious, but he was willing to put his teeth on me. But that's another thing too, is that it's just not cool, like right out of the gate. Like the dog comes in. He doesn't have serious behavioral issues, but he's not had a nice life. I'm the first real new person he's probably met in some time. It's like, do I want the first interaction we have for him to lose a fight to me?
Yeah.
Like, do we need that right
That's a
now,
bad
dude?
precedent.
I don't think we need that right now.
No.
And if he's actually biting me and I don't have gear on, like I'm actually gonna have to defend myself. You know what I mean? So I'm gonna have to be more physically strong. And like I just don't want to fucking do that. So if I know that I can just put this off a little bit, I will say that I did speed it up on purpose because I knew it wasn't that serious, and that if and when we get this done, it will seriously jump. Like we will go, like our training will skyrocket. Like we'll be able to do anything. Like the next day, I'm taking him out. I'm out at a public park with him on a line, and I don't have to.
Mhm.
Like I haven't even given him a formal recall yet,
I think what's
and he's
interesting
like
about
50 yards
him,
away from me,
yeah, I think
and
what's
I'm
interesting,
not worried.
right? What's interesting about him, even versus like Breeze, is like it's not that deep. Like you can almost tell that these are, which like this is very difficult to describe, like how you know, because it's a vibes thing. But he himself is not a terribly weak dog. Like he's emotionally connected and sensitive, but he doesn't have a weak character. He learned sort of maladaptive coping strategies. But like Breeze or like even anyway, like some of the other boarding trains that we talked about before, like they are actually weak dogs in their character. So it's hard
Yeah,
to rush that. But with a dog like this, you
yeah,
go at the dog's pace, right? Like you can see that it's something that you can snap him out of pretty quickly because it's not actually
right.
it's not he has a bad temperament. It's not a genetic limitation
No,
of his.
no.
It's a very learned behavior. And even like the
Like
foster, it kind of proves that point, right? That like he wasn't always this way. Um, it
no,
happened
part
later.
of it is right. Part of it is like, dude, you're a Belgian Malinois. Like, fucking grow up.
Yeah,
You know
yeah.
what I mean?
And you know you
It's
can
not
kind of
right.
dig a
Like,
little bit
act like it,
harder.
dude.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
be proud of yourself. Like, stand up straight. Stop being a little
Yep.
bitch. And it's not. And I know that sounds crazy, but it's not. Like, that's truly my mindset. It's like, dude, like I
People
know.
let dogs be weak, and it's
Right.
horrible to see. Like,
Right. And yeah, like you said, like a dog like Breeze genuinely he just like is convinced he has an adversarial relationship with reality. It's just like everything is just like, I mean, now I would say he's like at neutral, but still like I don't love people. Like I'm not interested in that. I don't immediately love other dogs. I'm not like going out, like I like to be with dad and I like to sniff stuff, but like he doesn't have this
he
like
doesn't have a
amazing
drive or passion for life the way that a
self-image and
Malinois is going
intensity.
to.
Yeah,
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 yeah.
yeah. And it's like
That's fine. Yeah.
yeah,
It's just different.
with him coming in, like he genuinely was convinced that I'm an enemy. And I can't like there's no like who he doesn't owe me. Like who am I to try to resolve an issue in like 4 days? No, no shot. With Aries, it would be stupid to leave that on the table when I know he can do it. I know you can do this, dude. You're a fucking Mal. And we talk about momentum a lot at TWC too. It's like I know, like we cracked play, and then you're meeting my dogs, and then we're running around outside, and it's like let's keep going. Like let's just fucking go. Like you're hey dude, you're normal. Let's go. That's and look now he's acting fucking normal. He's hanging out with my 5 and 3-year-old sons, and people were like concerned that he was aggressive to human. It's like um it's all connected. I think that the overall sense of going at the dog's pace, meaning urgency in this case, like let's fucking go. There's no reason to leave things on the table and let him wallow and be confused. You know what I mean? So yeah, it's a cool one. I've posted a bunch of clips on my Facebook, but if you want to watch of working the down and like those little moments, but if you want to watch the full thing, you can go on my Patreon. He's a really nice dog. He's really cool. He's going to be available for adoption.
Do we have time
I'll
to
probably
talk
have him
about the
another like
punishment
3.
stuff, or do
Oh
you need to go? Yeah.
100%. No, 100%. We can cover that, and then I need to get going soon because I gotta start training with this fucking guy. And I've got people like, this is what's scary, dude. All right, you want to know what like the scariest thing in my life?
Yeah. Besides elderly people.
Somewhat. All right. Well, no, they don't scare me. They make me mad. They piss me off. I actually commented on that video of grandma falling into the ocean. And this was years and years ago. I commented, why does this piss me off? And it was like one of the only internet comments pre like dog training that actually like popped off. Like people were like losing it. Cause I think some people are going to get what I mean. Like you see an old person like pretend to not be able to like open a door. It's like, dude, like push the fucking door, dude. Like I know that there's no way you're that weak. You are playing that shit up. It's kind of like Aries, where I'm like, you've convinced yourself that you're this fucking loser. Just like wake up, dude. Like let's start getting shit done. Get shit done. But yeah, the other thing that we needed obviously is to be able to break, because he was trapped in the reinforcement loop about as bad as I've seen, where like the reps were just like never ending, where he just like will claw and dive and he was taught some shit. This isn't bad, by the way. It's just annoying as escape mechanisms. He was taught by somebody to do the go into heel between your legs and loop thing. And so he will compulsively slither through my legs
I
when
hate
he's
that. That's what
tweaking.
this fucking German Shepherd puppy does too. And I'm just like, fucking
Dude, it's
the worst.
and he will like pry my shins open like a
Yes.
fucking clam.
Yes.
And I'm like, dude, and you try to like use the leash you try to use the leash a little bit, and then like it's just
Goes harder.
so
Yep.
being able to get that sense of, I will say this, in one of the last Facebook clips, more recent clips of him, I say that's what we were looking for, because it was the moment where he hears the word no and he truly just like gives up instantly. I was like, oh my God, yes. Because we were having kind of a hard time, to be honest. But we got there. Obviously you need that, because when we go back to the crate, you can see this in the Patreon video. We go back to the crate, he does get on his bullshit. And when I say no and I pop the leash, you know what happens? He stops. Now he tries it again, and I think maybe a third time. However, it wasn't one continuous bucket of sludge. It was like individual moments where I'm like, dude, come on. Instead of, how do I get out? How do I get out? How do I get out? You know, so that clarity needs to be achieved. There's something also to be said for the idea that if you merely defeat the dog with physical force, especially a male, I believe they can take that as like an ongoing call to physical challenge. And like they'll just try to be either stronger, sneakier, or faster next time. Whereas I want to be able to have a break in the action where I can use reinforcement to be like, dude, come on. If he starts, so it was what you were talking about earlier. I think before you clicked record, the sporting dog that was changing positions, the guy being able to call a break and step him out and reset him. There's something to be said about, and you were talking about how like the sports applications, it's not just a sports application, because pet dogs that have been trapped in constant trying to produce rewards or escape aversives, they will go haywire, especially like a male, a really intelligent dog, or a cattle dog. they go nuts. Like they actually, you can see the steam coming out of their ears.
And
where they're like
it's
just
high anxiety
searching.
too. Like again, the good working
it's
dogs have like a
crazy.
baseline level of anxiety that makes
Yeah.
them do shit. And when you
Right.
like you flip that switch and it's like, dude,
It's frantic.
settle
And
down.
it feels
Yeah.
it feels gross. Like I can't imagine actually being the one in that state, but it feels like gross to see and like be around when a dog is going through that. So being able to call a break in the action, be like, dude, come on, like I'm serious. That's also something that was necessary. So it's not just about, like, obviously being able to just put him in the crate is nice, but I could have gone the rest of his program tossing treats. Like that doesn't take that long. It's not that big a deal to do, but the ramifications overall are just insane. So hopefully that comes through in the videos, so people can kind of take away the major point of it, I guess. I could have gotten him to go in on cue with a treat strategy. I know, dude. I could have too. What a waste of time.
Yeah, just to
what a waste.
To like pick apart the like punishment versus negative reinforcement a little bit more. Like you made the
can I tell
comment
you
that
what's afraid? Can I tell
Yeah,
you
go
why
ahead.
I'm afraid? Can I tell you why I'm afraid quick?
Yeah. Oh,
A
right.
number that I don't have saved. That I had a phone call with at some point a couple weeks ago, texted me an address.
You're supposed
So
to be
I'm like,
somewhere right now.
yeah, I'm like, there's no way I didn't, like, no way, right? And like they just haven't said anything back, so I'm just gonna like wait for them to clarify. But it's because I have no idea. I have no fucking clue. I have no clue. And I'm like, yeah, I'm too wrapped up in this conversation to even think about it, but I'm just like, I have like panic. I'm like freaking out.
You know, I need that. Yeah.
Okay, but sorry, keep going.
Yeah, just to unpack the like punishment versus negative reinforcement a little bit. Like you mentioned the getting into the fight, right? Like having that that altercation and that mindset sort of stuck there. What's the word I'm looking for? Antagonistic. If he's in this antagonistic state of mind, that still, and like this is kind of what's interesting about handlers that do this, the rebel, you don't need to go down, but like the handler aggressive dogs, stuff like that. If people get in fights with their dogs, that's getting stuck in a negative reinforcement loop a lot of the time. And they're not seeing it that way. Yeah. They're not seeing it that way because it's expressions of behavior that aren't like sit down stance. It's like, oh, it's not but like the dog is continuing to try shit and you're continuing to put pressure on and you're just butting heads. And that's not going to resolve most likely how we want it to.
No, that's going to create problems that are going to surface other places too, probably.
Correct. And the way that we, and again, this is where like people would see, you know, like the handler and the dog fighting and the dog finally being like, all right, fine, like you win. That's what people would think of as punishment, right? Because they're like, oh, you got the dog to quit. Right. But the way that the dog quit, this is going to be kind of hard to explain. Hopefully you can help me out. But like the way that the dog quit was finally appeasement behavior. So like at best, you just negatively reinforced shutting down and appeasement behavior. Yeah. You didn't actually get the dog out of that mental state and reset him. You just won that argument in the moment, or that's what it looks like. And what we want to be able to do. Yeah, go ahead.
This is almost impossible to talk about.
I know. Because it's like you have to get out of the argument. Like you have to just step away.
Yes.
And be like, hey, we both need to take a breath. Here's the thing. Like, I can't have that behavior. Like, hey, kid. Like, I don't know. I'm always bad at kid analogies because I don't have kids. But like, you stole a candy bar. I'm not going to grab this candy bar from you and have you scream and cry about it and then be like, haha, I have like, and put it like, I'm going to have this discussion with you that you can't do that. And that wasn't okay, but we're not going to fight about it. And if you start fighting about it, I'm not engaging. Like we're not allowing
Right.
that antagonism.
I'm not getting sucked in. I'm not getting
I'm not
sucked
getting
into
such
your
as your
world.
bullshit.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
And that,
It's kind of a sense that you're this could potentially be clippable and oh Dylan's crazy. It's like it's actually that your authority is so powerful in this instance it actually can't be challenged. It's like we're not even interacting on that. Like it's not an option, dude. Like it's not a fucking option. There is no back talking. There's no debating.
yeah, there's no
Like that.
world in which you're able to change my mind about this. It
Right.
just,
Right.
we need to
If you
remove
leave
this.
doubt,
Yep.
you can't leave that doubt where the dog is then thinking like, well, what if next time I just like pretended to do this
Correct.
or I
Correct.
did that
And
harder?
again, you see
Like,
this with kids all the time where they'll get very,
yeah.
because kids are smarter than the dogs, they can throw out different behaviors. So it's sometimes a little bit easier to
Mhm.
see where they get very, very manipulative. And it's
Yes.
not their fault. They're not a bad kid. They have been
Yeah.
taught how to throw out
Right.
all of these different behaviors to get the outcome where they can
Right.
sort of like chip away at that authority that the parent didn't really ever have, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean, my wife had to get on my 5-year-old. This is a couple nights ago. And it's just like, okay, we're not watching a movie tonight now.
Mhm.
Like you know, you can't throw toys at whatever, you know.
Yeah.
And he starts screaming, "No, mom, I love you."
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like that's not false, but it in this context,
Correct.
obviously there's a motivation and like
And your
that
wife isn't
can't
gonna
be
scream back at him, no, don't say, like, she's not
right.
gonna get
You don't
sucked
love me.
into
Yeah,
that.
yeah, yeah. No,
Like, if
it's
you
like it's like
responded to that appeasement behavior in that way, you
right,
have just entered that
right,
reinforcement loop.
right. And like back to dogs, back to like a more recent
Yeah.
example with dogs. So Breeze went home. That dog Breeze went home, and like of course when he goes back to mom and dad in the neighborhood, I'm like, yo, you got to be ready. You're gonna have to get on him probably like 3 or 4 times for the delivery car thing. I actually think with people they're not going to have to. They're arranging to have guests come over. I'm really interested to see what happens. But that recovery was so natural that I think. But the package car things in their environment is truly has been
Self-reinforcing,
intoxicating for
yeah.
like 5 years, like crazy, right? So he sent me the first clip of him like trying to get on him, and he went off. It wasn't as bad as his normal blow ups, but like if you let this go uncontested, it would go bad again. Um, and he sent me a clip, and I'm like, I'm watching, and then at the end where he stops, I can see Breeze's face, and he's like this. I give up, and I was like, like, all right, good. This is a really good learning moment because it's on camera. Like we can zoom, like I can show you, like, yo, like look at how he's looking right now. Like that is clearly not like he's throwing that out there as a way to try to resolve this moment, but he has not gotten the message. Like, and then the next day, so yesterday or 2 days ago, he got on him again, and clearly Breeze was like, all right, like yeah, got it. And I was like, just compare the two dispositions and demeanors he's showing, and it is about as perfect of a learning material for a client that I've ever seen.
Yeah.
It's like,
What did you have him change?
very clear. He followed up one more time.
Okay. Yep.
So when Breeze tried to do that, I give up. He went again.
Yep. He didn't
No,
work.
you don't. Like, actually, come on. And then it's, oh.
Yep. Sweet.
That's why in the first one, I wasn't triggered, but I was like, dude, you were right there.
I know.
And you
It's so close. That's the worst.
But like, you're a dog owner. You're a dog owner. It's not, it's really
I
hard.
don't know.
Like,
Yeah. It's so hard.
This is shit that's like extremely hard. Like for the things that I do, it's hard for me to say when something requires talent and effort because I think most of it is just fucking brain dead. And I don't want people to have the Shikashio theorem where it's like, actually things that work are really hard, so I'm going to be retarded on purpose. So like I don't want to feed into that. But this part is actually like really hard,
especially for dog owners that only have
explain.
experience with a
Yeah.
couple of dogs, maybe to that level.
Right,
Like you
right,
just
right.
it. Yeah.
Yeah. And like when you when you, the trainer, have the dog, especially in a board and train, where like we get so fucking, I learned everything about these dogs. I can just tell instantly where his mind's at. I'm like, dude, he's fucking with you. Like, he did not give a fuck about this whole interaction. He's thinking about the next time and how funny it is, and maybe I'll be able to do this again. Like, that's what's going through his head. And then in the next one, it was like, wow, I guess this is over. Like, I just really can't do that. Like, I didn't know Dad could follow through and really be that guy. You know what I mean? So yeah, really, really cool one, very important. And it largely has to do with a lot of these really intelligent, driven dogs. Like with this idiot, I don't think that we're ever gonna have a problem being like, dude, Cotton, can you stop?
Yeah, he's happy to stop.
Like it's yeah, like
He doesn't have a whole lot of
fun.
go.
Like,
Yeah, he's not gonna try that many things until he
maybe
quits.
he'll surprise me.
Maybe,
I don't
maybe.
know.
Yeah.
But it's gonna be like a basic obedience program, and then I'm gonna try to bring him back into the home with the other dog, and if he goes off, we're gonna be like, dude, come on. And I truly think he's gonna go and just go over to his bed and lay down. Like, it's gonna be over. Like, that's what I think. But I haven't done anything with him yet, so this is gonna be, maybe he'll go out and beat my ass and he'll be crazy. I don't think so. I think we're gonna go into Lowe's, even though I'm sick of it, just because it's so fucking cold and it's pouring rain. But Aries won't care. Like, for him, I should take him out and train. We'll do. People get really curious too about like the scheduling with the, like, what does a day look like or a session look like? Like, how do you divide them up? Like with Aries, the stage that he's at, very rapidly, very quickly. I'll have him out. We'll probably do one or two more long line, but he could be on a dropped cat leash at this point. We'll go out. We're going to go out to a huge open public park. There's not going to be anybody there because of the storm. And this time we're going to reverse order. We're going to start with the negative reinforcement exploration section and then play, because the first time we went there, which was yesterday, we started with hard play and then went into the exploration. So I want to get him out and get him to chase some squirrels, recall him off while he's still at peak delirium. You know what I'm saying? And then with the new tools that we've developed through resolving the crate issue, if I need to get on him, we can do it and just get on with our day in a blink. Like, you could easily see a scenario where he gets adopted out and he loves squirrels, which is hilarious. And grandma tries holding him back and he turns on her. You know what I mean? Like, and maybe not, he doesn't turn on her and like tear her in half, but he's like clawing her and
yeah, just that
smacking at her.
over exuberance where he's just like, just losing his mind. Yeah.
Right. The objection behaviors like that.
Yes.
Like,
throwing his temper tantrum. Yep.
You could see a trainer come in and go to fight him, and then depending on how much of a Malinois he is, he may bite, like, for real, and get into like an actual struggle. It's just not necessary, So yeah, he's really cool. Yeah, check out my Facebook has videos of a lot of the stuff we're talking about, but also if you actually just want to see the unedited raw, just like, well, minimal editing. I don't actually have like the whatever, how many hours. Like, I don't record us walking around the house like it's the training session.
Yeah.
Dylan didn't show him fucking taking a piss this morning. I bet he's fucking hiding things. Like, okay. What else? For the first time in so long, I got a dog that I had to put an e-collar on overnight. Aries, the first night, I had to do it because he was just going nuts. And then Cotton came in, and for the second time in so long, I had a dog that I had to put an electric collar on so I could sleep at night. So Cotton's first night, he had to have the Boss 1200 unit put on his candy ass. Because he was just fucking going nuts in this crate. They're both great now. It was a couple nights for one night for Aries and a couple nights for Cotton where I had to get on him. Did I ever had to do that so fucking long?
Yeah. Do you think it's because like you didn't have as much time to like decompress them, or it just happened to happen?
Because they're good dogs.
Right. Okay. Yeah.
I actually think the nasty dogs, they're so thrown off by
the change of like they don't want to come out of the crate, dude.
No, yeah, I was gonna say they're actually comfortable there because they
no.
don't have to deal with anything.
If I have
Yep.
to be here,
Yep.
if I have to be in this place, keep me in the crate. So they're not going to whine to come out. I try to get them out, and they attack me.
Yeah.
So
That's
they're not
true.
like itching to come out of the crate. But like him, he's like, "Oh, come on, dude, I want to fucking."
Like, why am I not on the bed?
Right.
Bullshit.
Yeah, these guys are awesome. So yeah, I'm really freaked out about this address text. I don't have anything in my calendar. I don't have any alarms going off. There's no way.
Yeah.
Right? Like, there's
Fine.
no way.
It's fine.
I should
Every once
text
like
and be like,
every couple
"Hey."
of months, I forget something. Like I just don't write it down. Or like you'll like type it in, but then not hit save or like some bullshit like
Don't
that.
hit
And
save.
I'm like,
Yes. Oh my
"Ugh,
god.
I just hate it."
I'll be doing something else and I'll hard close the calendar app thinking that I clicked save.
Yep.
And I
Yep.
didn't. Do you think I should text and be like, "Hey, who is this?"
Yeah. Especially
Should
if
I
they're-
wait a little while?
I mean, it's probably been like a half hour now, so should probably if they haven't texted within 5 minutes, they're not planning on following it up. So
Yeah, but I clearly had a phone call with this person like
just say
a
like,
week
"Oh,
or
I
two
lost
ago
my
or
note."
something. I'm gonna kill myself. This is so cringy. I'm gonna train Cotton first, and then I'll text him.
Yeah.
No, I'll text him when I'm getting in the car.
Yeah. Because then you know.
All right. Yeah. All right. I'm gonna go. This is so. I'm like free. I'm like tweaking out that I'm supposed to be like meeting up with someone right now at a park or something.
Really good.
All right. Yeah.
There. It's a good one.
You already know. We'll have more. We got more bullshit to talk about next time. We've always got dog stuff. So, peace out, homies.